Welcome back. Today, we are looking at chapter 105, The Nature of Suggestion in Basic Hypnosis Training. My name is Monica, and I am your guide today in your growth and development as a hypnotist. Let me pull up. These are the things I am hoping that you learn. I am intending that you learn for chapter 105. What are the 5 ways to reprogram the subconscious? What are the 2 ways you are allowing trance to influence you, waking trance? What is the hypnotic seal? How do you handle the hypnotic seal? The 4 most common responses with hypnosis, meaning the speed of response. What is a post-hypnotic suggestion? What is a waking suggestion? What is compounding suggestions? What is pre-talk? And what is the difference between gullible and suggestible? According to Aristotle, excellence is never an accident. It is always the result of high intention, sincere effort, and intelligent execution. It represents the wise choice of many alternatives. Choice, not chance, determines your destiny. When working with hypnosis, we want to build a desire or intent so that we want something to happen. There's the expectation. And then we want to imagine it through creative visualization or dream induction. And then we watch it happen. And then we do the best we can each and every day with what we have at hand, and we allow it to happen. So you want it to happen, you watch it happen, and you allow it to happen. The nature of suggestion is that you have a natural ability to respond to suggestion that allows you to harness the full powers of your mind. Everybody has an ability to respond to suggestion. Some people are more responsive than others. What is an idea? We have 5 senses. When one sense is stimulated, what I see or hear or feel or smell or taste, one sense is an idea. Thoughts are combinations of ideas, so more than one sense has been stimulated. I see it, I hear it, I feel it. Comprehension and understanding generally occurs when we have stimulated 3 senses. In science, this is called triangulation of data. We want to triangulate data and use multiple senses. Often a person in pain is using one sense. I feel, oh, I feel bad. And we can use hypnosis to redirect from the one sense of I feel bad to what does it look like? What does it sound like? Sometimes we can use what does it smell like? What does it taste like? It's rare to use sense of smell and sense of taste in our society. The dominant view that most people use is what does it look like? Pain is a feeling sense. Once we start shifting it away from just the feeling sense, we can spread out the senses and we can start reducing the discomfort and reliance on just one idea. The 3-step learning pattern goes like this. I see something for the first time and I am not emotionally stirred by it and I notice it go by. That was interesting. I wonder what that was. The second time I notice something go by, that's somewhat familiar. I wonder what that was. The third time something goes by, I might catch it and go like, oh my, this is familiar to me now. When we're doing hypnosis, we want to use at least 3 senses to stimulate something, and we want to repeat things at least 3 times. so that we start building repetition as a form of learning, because it is. How do we learn things? Look, Mom, I can count to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And a week later, I'm saying, look, Mom, I can count to 100. We learn things by repetition. Suggestible and gullible are different because suggestible means I am paying attention to the suggestions that are beneficial for me, and I will use that for positive, powerful, ongoing growth. An overachiever and an underachiever are both giving themselves direct suggestions. The overachiever is giving themselves positive suggestions for growth and development. The underachiever is giving themselves negative suggestions for growth and development. Ongoing suggestions target where we are observing. We have a circle of intent that we use in our basic class. We'll be looking at that in one of the other videos. We put in the middle, what is it that I want to focus on today? And then at the edges, we write all the things that could possibly happen to distract us. And we learn how our mind focuses attention on a topic, or does it jump around all the things at the edges that could be distracting us. A gullible person tends to accept suggestions whether it's good for them or not. This is a program of self-regulation that is intended to bring alignment between your inner world and your outer world. The response to suggestion is different from person to person. Some people are more responsive than others. And sometimes a person is more responsive than others. Once you accept a suggestion, your mind will tend to act on it until it achieves its goal, whether it be a positive suggestion or a negative suggestion. The suggestion can be rejected if your critical faculty says, your logic says, no, that's not me and I'm not doing it. When a suggestion has been accepted, it can take hold instantly or gradually over time. Some people have a strong desire to achieve their goals, and everybody moves at their own speed. You may be working with a hypnosis subject that's moving slowly, and you need to pace yourself according to their slow needs. Some people are moving faster. Hurry up, give me the suggestions faster. When a person enters the hospital, they tend to enter a waking trance. Going to see a doctor, people tend to enter a waking trance because they're going to see an expert and they're open to the idea that the expert is going to tell me what is going on. Formal trance induction is not necessary for a suggestion to be accepted. A suggestion can be accepted because it's appealing or because there's a fear base where a person is responding and they want to please the person giving the suggestion. Gradually accepting suggestions happens by repeating the suggestion over and over and over again. This is why I ask you to create an audio tape, an audio recording. We don't use tapes anymore. That you can listen to at least once a day for the next 7 to 10 days, and ideally at least once a day for 28 days. So you're setting in a pattern of habit, repetition, that these ideas are what I prefer. When you have repeated stimulation on the same suggestion, it's known as compounding or stacking suggestions. You're adding suggestions to previous suggestions, and each suggestion that's accepted creates further strength to the suggestions that have already been given. So you start with small suggestions, the ones that are easy to achieve, and you build upon them, one statement after another. Emil Coué, who we talked about in the chapter, I think it was 102, on the history of hypnosis. Let me double check that. Yes, chapter 102 is the background of hypnosis. Developed a plan of direct suggestions. Every day in every way, I am getting better and better and better. So when you start with the present every day, in every way, I am getting better and better and better. You're building upon the idea as it starts now and it continues to grow. You as a hypnotist are responsible for the way you think and respond to suggestion, because you as a hypnotist are also the subject. All hypnosis is self-hypnosis. And you decide to use or throw away, reject each suggestion that's presented to you. You can't be made to do anything against your personal, moral, or religious beliefs only by suggestion. You have to want it. You have to be strongly desirous of it. And the level of your desire will generally influence your level of response. Taking responsibility means paying attention to your senses and your ability to respond. Here is an exercise that I would like you to practice with. This is intended to bring your awareness to your feelings of what is true and what is not true. Now, if you would, close your beautiful eyes. Pay attention to the feelings in the middle of your body, particularly from the sternum down to about 2 inches below your belly button. Perhaps you want to place a hand on your body in that place and breathe deeply. Draw your attention to that place in the middle of your body. Deep inside, there's a part of you that knows truth and false. Trust yourself. You've noticed this feeling many times in the past. I want you to start using it deliberately. Deep inside, we have what's called the abdominal brain. You know what's true and false in your head. You logically do that, and you'll use that for developing suggestions. And then we use the abdominal brain, the body brain, to determine, are these the suggestions I really want to use? Does it feel right? When you're developing your suggestions, you read them back to yourself and notice how you feel inside your body. Your abdominal area digests everything, not just physical food. It digests mental, emotional, and spiritual food too. Some things are not food. They are not digestible and are recognized by the gut feelings as false, distasteful, waste, and you want to just pass them through. When you attend to your gut instinct, this can help you reject negative experiences or options. I want you to pay close attention to what you perceive occurring in the middle of your body now, or any other body changes that are your personal body awareness of truth and false. Hear these words now. Say them to yourself. I am male. Notice how you feel. I am female. Notice how you feel. I am neither male nor female. Notice how you feel. Notice the difference between your body feeling this is true and this is untrue. If you have no sensation of difference, it may indicate that you are balanced. It may indicate that you are numb or detached from your body. Let's do a few more sentences. Pay attention inside your body now. I am breathing in air. I am breathing in charcoal dust. I am breathing in water. Notice how you feel in your body with these statements. I am breathing in air. I am breathing in charcoal dust. I am breathing in water. Notice how you feel about words that you know are true or false. And when you're ready, open your beautiful eyes Pause this recording, pull up chapter 119, and take a look at the signs of hypnosis. Take the time to check off, what did I experience during this simple exercise without a formal induction and without a formal emergence? And then when you're ready, turn the video back on again and return to this chapter 105. Beliefs will often determine how we choose to live our lives. We learn them from our parents, our educators, our religious leaders, our authorities, our spouses. We choose to accept or discard incoming suggestions based upon what we believe about ourselves and others. It's wonderful to have your values and your beliefs aligned. Sometimes there's conflicts between what you value and what you believe. Anything that we do that brings the inner world, the values and beliefs, and the outer world desires together is thought to be a form of self-hypnosis. We want to align the inner and the outer values and ideas so that we can achieve more of our goals. Our reality is experienced through verbal and nonverbal communications. The beliefs that you have will set a pattern for what you do and what you think, and your beliefs will screen out things it doesn't believe. If I have been taught that I am not safe, even when I am safe, I might continue to scan the world around me. I have to develop new beliefs so that I can feel safe. If I have been taught that I am not loved or lovable, even when I get into a relationship that is a loved and loving relationship, I may not notice all the communications that indicate I'm a loved and loving person because I have this belief that I am not those things. And so good things are happening to me and I keep rejecting them. I keep ignoring them because it doesn't meet my value or belief system. When we're working with people who have distorted belief systems, distorted cognitions, distorted thoughts, maladaptive thoughts, we help them become aware of which thoughts they're having that are holding them back, and then find out, do they want to change their mind and start thinking more positive thoughts? Your underlying beliefs and values have been enculturated by your family, your culture, your time span, and the geographic location that you're in. So it's okay if you start learning that your values and your beliefs, which you learned in your upbringing, aren't as helpful as an adult as perhaps they were for the adults who were owning and controlling your time when you were young. Selective thinking. When you come seeking hypnosis, you have some kind of need. And in this class, the first need is relaxation. This makes the hypnotist job really easy because the one thing all people have in common when practicing this style of hypnosis is relaxation. The body will tend to respond very quickly to suggestions of well-being because the body likes it. Once you get your conscious mind redirected, the attention redirected with simple suggestions of relaxation, the critical faculty may be bypassed, and the selective thinking of relaxation has been established. Each suggestion built upon previous suggestions creates greater response to the earlier suggestions. This is a compounding and layering effect that you augment with truisms about reality. I see you, just breathe deeply. I see your neck muscles just relaxed. The layering and compounding of suggestions creates a selective thinking with good rapport that builds the goal the person is seeking with hypnosis. As you layer positive ideas into awareness, There's often a corresponding positive shift in the person's sense of well-being, their state, becoming more relaxed, becoming more aware. You'll notice there's often a relaxed mind and a heart that allows for a pleasant unfolding in a sense and awareness of self. How do we deliver suggestions? It has to be with confidence. Can't be like, oh, maybe, maybe you'll notice your eyes relaxed. The hesitation in a person's voice will deliver doubt. Close your eyes and relax them to the point where they just won't work. Speak confidently. Lock your own mind around the idea that your suggestions are being accepted and acted upon. Any doubt that creeps in, any uncertainty that creeps into your voice will be delivered to the person receiving the suggestions. You want to deliver your suggestions with assurance that just as easily as the sun is going to rise today, you will accept these suggestions. As you speak confidently and you paint a picture in your own mind of what you actually desire before and during giving the suggestions, you're delivering a message, a congruent message to the person receiving them. Ideally, you have taken the time to deliver these suggestions developed with the person you're working with. Some people talk about the hypnotic voice, and there are hypnosis organizations that have given awards for the hypnotic voice. Is it necessary to have a deep and profound hypnotic voice? No. A person can have a squeaky little voice and still give good suggestions. The hypnotic voice comes from speaking confidently and supporting your speaking with a deep breath. You perhaps take a yoga class and learn pranayama, which will teach you belly breathing, or take singing lessons that will help you develop the support in the diaphragm and building the cone of energy that comes around this part of the face and comes from the back here. You're supporting your breath from deep in the body and delivering the suggestions in a cone of energy. Some people use monotony. They don't have rise and fall in their voice. Perhaps you've had a professor who was so boring. You practically fell asleep in their class, and yet you passed the test and you did well. That boring professor was using the monotony approach of education. Your conscious mind goes away, and the unconscious mind picks up all the relevant information. As soon as the conscious mind has lost interest in paying attention to you, and that's right, go deeper down. And I use a sing-song tone of voice, and deeper down. I have a voice that rises and falls. I want you to go to the peak of your level of relaxation down to the basement of your relaxation. I paint images with the rising and falling of my voice. And it's a sing-song like a child's storytelling at night. The conscious mind may get bored and wander away, but the unconscious mind is going, oh, you're talking to me now. I might even say, for the conscious and the unconscious minds, I'm talking to you now. You notice when I said conscious, I said it with my normal phrasing, and I paused before I said unconscious mind, and I changed the way I was saying it, which delivers an embedded message. Hey, you unconscious mind, I'm talking to you now. It's interesting. Hypnosis subjects will sometimes say they became aware of a duality of the mind. They notice more than one aspect of their awareness simultaneously, which means they've gone from a fixed awareness to a more expanded awareness, and they're noticing more things simultaneously. It's normal for a person to say, hey, your voice faded in and out on me. It's just like a radio station in the mountains. Sometimes I heard you, sometimes I didn't. When doing group hypnosis, where we're using direct suggestions, I've had in a group of 30, people say, I don't remember you saying anybody else's suggestions, but when you got to mine, I got very attentive. I've also had times where being in trance, I didn't remember any of the suggestions going on. At this time, I'm using a hypnosis recording prepared for this class because I practice all the exercises in the class myself with every class. And I'm using my recording twice a day, morning and night. I'll be using it for 28 days. I'm not alert and aware and conscious for the entire recording. I wander away. I fade out. Sometimes it takes me into a natural sleep. And sometimes I come alert going like, oh, the recording has stopped. I know that my conscious mind is no longer paying attention. My unconscious mind is picking it all up. As you're presenting suggestions for relaxation, layered upon, more ideas of layered upon, more ideas, connecting more ideas, seemingly unrelated ideas, you're going to watch for the signs of hypnosis that are listed from Chapter 103 and also in Chapter 119 of Independent Study. As you're watching these signs of hypnosis, you get to determine, is this person entering trance? Are they noticing the trance state? You might encourage the person. That's it. Stay with that feeling of relaxation. Trust yourself. You know you can. You know, you know, you can breathe deep and easy. In this section here, you'll know what you need to feel better. Trust yourself. Relax deep and easy. You know you can. Trust yourself to relax completely. In this manual, I have certain words that are in bold or capitalized. Those are the ones I want you to practice doing embedded suggestions with. You know what you need to, you pause, feel better. Change the words, change the tones that you're using in those words. Resume a more natural tone. Trust yourself. Relax deep and easy. You know you can. Trust yourself to completely relax. Pre-hypnotic suggestions are known as pre-talk. The pre-talk is what we do when we interview someone. We educate them about hypnosis, the misconceptions, the fallacies about it, and the truth about hypnosis. And during this time, you're building expectancy and developing rapport. You're going to tell the person in advance what they're going to experience. This builds expectancy on top of the expectancy of a person who's already called you seeking hypnosis, has already driven to you or come to your Zoom room. The pre-talk is a crucial part of clarifying with the person what that person wants to achieve. Pre-talk is a language structure describing the natural phenomena of learning, growth, and development that the person has been using for years, perhaps not articulating exactly what they experienced or did to learn through repetition, intense emotion. Pre-talk is what we've been doing up to this point in this class. It's like getting an instruction manual and reading it before using something. With any group or any individual, there will be differences in response. Everybody responds differently. Some do not respond at this moment. Some people have a response that's rapid. The response levels are generally 30, 30, 30, 10. 30% of the people get what they need in one session, 30% in 2 to 6 sessions, 30% stop and start and stop and start and start. I'm usually in that category. I'm stubborn and I'm slow to respond. And 10% of the people I cannot help at this moment. That doesn't mean they can't be hypnotized. It just means they don't want to experience it at this moment. And that's fine because each person knows what they are here for. Send that person home with a recording. I like to use WhatsApp or Gmail to send a recording because those are large enough in data usage to allow a 20 or 30 or 40-minute hypnosis session to be sent to the person so they can practice. Being in the moment. You want to be right here, right now with your client. You want to be right here, right now with yourself. You can do this by commenting on what is occurring, speaking truisms, helping them recognize what's happening, encouraging them to continue doing what they are already doing, and adding affirmations of well-being to boost feelings of well-being. That's right. And good. Excellent. Relaxing more with every breath, noticing how good it feels to relax. Just let go. Letting everything go like a puffy cloud floating away in a clear blue sky. Take all your thoughts and ideas and just put them on that puffy cloud for now. Being fully present with each breath and noticing how good it feels to be fully connected inside yourself, in your skin, relaxed and aware. Now, why do I say something like in your skin? When a person has experienced trauma, it's not uncommon for them to talk about feeling a bit detached from their bodies. When I have worked in witness recall for law enforcement with people who have been assaulted or raped, they may talk about, I went to hide over there, a piece of me went and sat on that cloud over there, another part of me hid behind the truck. I was looking out to see, was that person being killed or not? So when a person has had traumatic experiences, they may not be connected completely with what's inside the skin because they've learned to step a bit away from it in order to feel a sense of safety because they're no longer in pain in the body. Once you have finished a hypnotic session, you'll want to do a post-hypnotic review. Each and every time you see me sip water during this class, allow yourself to go deeper into your awareness of what hypnosis is and is not. So once you've finished a session and the eyes open, well, you kind of surprised yourself, didn't you? Tell me about that. What you're doing is you're asking the person to recall or remember what the experience was about. The longer you go between the emergence and asking this question, it's common for a person to remember less and less and less. Is there anything that sticks out from your experience that you would like to share with me? Is there anything you found particularly interesting? Is there anything else you observed or experienced that sticks out for you? When you encourage a person to comment on anything they found particularly interesting or helpful or disturbing, this allows that person to connect and become more familiar with their ability to respond to suggestion. Compounding suggestions. Selective thinking occurs like this. Now close your beautiful eyes. Okay, I close my eyes. Relax them to the point where they just won't work. You notice my eyebrows wiggled. I have relaxed them to the point where they just won't work. We have now bypassed logic because it's not logical that my eyes won't work. It's imagination. And we're going from the logical mind into the imaginative mind. Now change my mind and the eyes work just fine. I'm also slightly hypnoidal now. I'm more open to suggestion because I've opened myself to my imagination. Every suggestion that's accepted causes subsequent suggestions to have easier acceptance, like yes, the yes that has been established. Once you get several suggestions going, the mind is locked around the idea of like, oh, this is working for me. As every suggestion is accepted, the previous suggestions become stronger, a firm foundation upon which further suggestions are built. What this causes is we can automatically tie our shoe without having to stop to think about, as my father taught me, put this little loop up there, it's like a tree. Run this little string around it like a rabbit, and then pull it through like a rabbit, jumping in a hole. And now I got two little ears like a rabbit. So my father created images for me about how to tie my shoe. I don't have to think those images anymore when I tie a shoe. Running up and down a flight of stairs, once I learned how to do it properly, I didn't have to learn how to do it again until I had to learn how to walk again. And then I went up and down the stairs on my butt for a while, because the same way I did when I was a kid until I had control of my legs. So once we learn something, it generally becomes an automatic process unless something comes up to disrupt that automatic process and we have to relearn how to do something. Suggestions can be delivered over and over and over again, the same thing, which is the benefit of using a recording repetitively. Repetition gets things done. Advertising is done with repetition. Every time you hear something, it becomes more familiar. Even politicians, incumbents that have a bad reputation, tend to get their incumbent steam because of name recognition. People know it. Another way of improving suggestions and compounding is by linking and layering suggestions one on top of another. Go deeper into droopy, drowsy slumber as your eyelids get heavy and close and you go deeper into the knowing. Well, there are several suggestions being delivered here, all blurred together. Droopy, drowsy slumber is one of them. Eyelids are getting heavy and closing is another. And the third one is you go deeper into the knowing. And I rolled them all together in one sentence so that direct suggestions of three different things become compounded upon the other, and accepting one generally allows for the accepting of the others. The use of and, as, because, but can link seemingly unrelated ideas together. Now, when you're talking with someone and you ask a question and they blink 3 times quickly, it generally indicates the person has had 3 suggestions. Each blink is like a period at the end of a suggestion. And if that person hasn't spoken to you with several fast blinks of the eye, you might want to ask, what thoughts are you thinking right now that you haven't yet allowed to come out your mouth and share with me? Implied messages are wonderful tools, and so is a pause. A pause is called a deepening. As you breathe, the rising and falling of the rib cage gives all the internal organs a beautiful massage. And you know how good, how good a massage feels. So there are many implied messages in that one sentence with a lot of pauses in it. The implied, you are breathing. Your rib cage is rising and falling with each breath. The movement of your rib cage is massaging your internal organs. You know how. Massage feels good. Feel. Breathing feels good. Breathing massages the internal organs. We can layer suggestions that infer what is already occurring. There's a lot of truisms in that sense. And you can build suggestions on truisms that help deepen rapport. This suggestion wouldn't work well with someone with a cracked rib. You need to pay attention to the person that's with you. More suggestions. Anything I do today will increase your willingness and understanding and learning of hypnosis. Anything can be used to compound a suggestion so that you become a better and better hypnotic subject. A body movement, a word, a situation, the background sounds of your breathing sends you deeper. Your desire for relaxation and the welcome suggestions of well-being. Stimulate your mind to create rapid results, creating balance, ease, calm, well-being, and excellence as a hypnosis student and hypnosis professional. Each suggestion that you give will build the strength of subsequent suggestions. Let me correct that. Each suggestion given that is accepted will build the strength of subsequent suggestions that are accepted. You may even link unrelated suggestions. Each suggestion that's accepted builds the strength of the previous suggestions and lays a foundation for a stronger subsequent suggestion. Now, let's say I make a decision when I'm 3 or 4 years old. A fight's going on. This is from a true story years ago. Grown man comes to see me. He's been married several times. He keeps going home to take care of his mother, and he's losing wives over this. And he came to see me to find out what is it that's causing me to fail my marriages. He entered into trance, and I said, now I'm going to count from 1 to 5, and you're going to go to the cause of your problem. And he went to being 3 years old and sitting there not wanting to eat his peas. And mama's trying to feed him peas. And he's like, I don't want to eat my peas. Dad walked in the door and said, I'm leaving you, to his mother. The 3-year-old is thinking, sitting in his high chair, I don't want to eat my peas. Dad walks out the door. Mom is crying. And she leans and says, never leave me. The child holds himself personally responsible for dad leaving because mom, who's been trying to force him to do something he doesn't want to do, I don't want to eat my peas, has now given him a suggestion as she's crying, don't ever leave me. And he says, okay, 3 years old. Now as a grown man, every time mom calls and she's upset, he goes running home to take care of mother because at 3 years old, he agreed he was never going to leave her. And each one of his wives has said, well, if your mother's more important than your family life, you can have your mother. He had to make some choices. Did he want a 3-year-old decision to determine who he was in his 40s? And he had to rearrange what his decisions were so he could still properly take care of his elderly mother and have a life of his own. Post-hypnotic suggestions. A post-hypnotic suggestion is any suggestion delivered in trance that's carried out after the trance has been formally ended. When I say to you, as you leave this class, you're going to find yourself really enjoying how hypnosis is helping you in your real world. That is a post-hypnotic suggestion that's asking you to pay attention to how hypnosis is affecting you in the real world. And as you start noticing, I might have an urge to be more relaxed in my life, you can use it for positive or negative. It's up to the innermost desires of the person receiving the suggestion to act upon or discard the information and stimulation coming in. Waking suggestions. Waking suggestions are those that occur without a formal trance induction. For example, you might say to someone, it sure is hot today. And in a few minutes, you start noticing how hot it is. Or maybe a child comes running in with a bleeding knee. Mommy, my knee is hurting. And mommy says, let me kiss it and make it better. Let's put on some hydrogen peroxide and a Band-Aid there. You're all better now. And the child goes running back out of the house because that child didn't analyze mommy's suggestions about whether or not the pain was going to be gone. They relied upon mommy to know what was necessary to do, and mommy gave a good, direct, waking suggestion about how that child is going to feel better. Waking suggestion is achieved when the mind has locked itself around a given idea and the suggestion is accepted by the person. You can find waking suggestion in parenting, politics, education, business, advertising, any endeavor in which humans interact with others, with self, and with the environment has an opportunity for waking suggestion. Do I choose to follow it or not? Today, while you're reviewing these words, you're redirecting your attention and enriching your understanding of self. Today, tomorrow, and all the days that follow, you are becoming a better and better hypnotist. Here's an example. If you had an urge to respond to that yawn, you are responding to a waking suggestion. If you respond to the yawn, and when my clients start yawning at me, I pick it up and I send it back because I am very suggestible. When I'm teaching a class, I might do a fake yawn. Excuse me. And I pay attention to who's yawning after, because once I start a fake yawn, I do a real yawn. I can't fake a yawn for long. I want to select as my demonstration subjects the people who responded to my yawn, because they are responsive to suggestions. When you finish this course, you will have become more and more aware of your ability to respond to suggestion, and you will start noticing how you respond to advertising, television, written material, radio, suggestions from your preacher, suggestions from your coach, suggestions from your whoever it is in a position of authority that wants you to do something. Waking trance. If I am on my way to the emergency room with a friend or for myself, I am in waking trance. I'm going to the hospital where the experts are so they can help me. If I'm going in to see my general doctor, I'm in waking trance as I'm going in the door. The expert is going to help me. Sometimes a person will comment on, oh, you're looking so marvelous today. Like, oh, and you might feel a little sparklier. I've had times walking down the street where everybody walking toward me is like grumpy looking. I don't want to pick that up. So I'll usually, hey, how you doing? It's a beautiful day today. Nice haircut, lovely shoes. I find something to admire about other people to shift the state to a more positive one. Am I an opportunistic hypnotist? I am. So how do we manage to accept suggestions? You can agree and let the idea in. Yes, I agree with you. And you can fail to disagree. I've served on multiple board of directors, and I've been called a contrarian because I disagree with things and I speak up about how I disagree with things. If I fail to disagree with you, you can assume that I am agreeing with you. And I would rather the people I am interacting with to know that I'm not agreeing with you about that. So don't assume that you can call me in to do the things that you want me to do because I'm disagreeing with you on that. Rejecting suggestions. People will refuse a suggestion that doesn't meet their personal, moral, or religious beliefs because inside that person is a knowing. It knows everything about that person and it knows that it knows. A healthy person will reject suggestions that are detrimental to their well-being. It's your job as a hypnotist to help a person establish a sense of self-trust about what's right for that person. Each person knows at some level what is needed for him or herself. Awareness of the inner knowing is aligning the person's inner experiences with their outer reality. The person's sense of centeredness and balance inside will help determine if they're balanced in dealing with the difficulties of life, and life can have some challenges. So a person will selectively choose which suggestions to use. And this comes from learning to trust senses and perceptions. That's what this course is all about, learning to trust your senses and perceptions, and then how to steer your mind toward that which you desire. When an idea is rejected, one of several things may occur. I may ignore your suggestion and move on to the next suggestion. I might shut down to any further suggestions. Maybe I'll implant my own suggestions in the gap left by the rejected suggestion. Or maybe I'll hear the suggestion the way I want to hear it. Often when I make a recording for someone and they listen to the recording repeatedly, they'll say, every time I listen to it, I hear something different. I've also had people say, not so polite, this darn tape isn't working anymore. Oh, the tape broke? No, the suggestions on it don't work anymore. This is when we were still using audio tapes, and I would hand a person a tape to take home with them. And I could say then, well, what do you suppose has caused those suggestions to stop working? Huh. I think I've finished all that stuff. Can we make another recording? Yes. What is the hypnotic seal? This occurs when an unscrupulous hypnotist tells a person, nobody will ever be able to hypnotize you but me. So unscrupulous. I want you to know what it looks like. I want you to recognize it so that if you encounter it with someone, you'll know how to cope with it. You can say, all hypnotists know that it won't last. Those suggestions don't last for more than 48 to 72 hours max. That's a direct suggestion. Another way you can deal with the hypnotic seal is, hey, Do you remember the last time you were hypnotized? Okay, close your beautiful eyes and be there and be here again. Breathe the way you breathed like that the last time you were hypnotized. Do it again. Hold your body that way again. Speak to yourself that way again. Hear that way again and notice what you feel that way. Often a person will go into that trance state and go, oh, I'm there again. Yeah, because all hypnosis is self-hypnosis. You can also say, I want you to remember the voice of the person who implanted that suggestion. Remember the last time that you were hypnotized by that person? Okay. Close your eyes and be there again. Listen to what that hypnotist is saying. Listen closely. What did you just hear? And notice how you feel. So we can draw upon a person's memory of being hypnotized the last time. You can also do a regression prior to the time of the seal. Remember a time before that time the hypnotist gave you that seal? Tell me about it. Now close your eyes and breathe deeply. Tour your body. What part of the body needs to relax still more at this time? According to Mark Gilboyne, who I studied with in 1987, there are 5 ways to reprogram the mind. Repetition. We've talked about that repeatedly. Identification. We want to be like other people, and so we find people to model, role models. Authority. The boss, the teacher, the priest, the pastor, the king, whoever it is, people are authority figures, and we yield our learning capacities to them because we want to learn, or we've been taught we have to learn what they have to say to us. And intense emotions. We don't always necessarily have to have repetition when it comes to an intense emotion. A positive tense emotion or a negative intense emotion can cause us to learn spontaneously really fast. And when you use all 4, repetition, identification, authority, and emotions, you are using self-hypnosis. All 4 of those things help us learn. So what are the 5 ways to reprogram the subconscious? What are the 2 ways you allow waking trance to influence you? What is the hypnotic seal? How do you handle a hypnotic seal? What are the 4 most common responses with hypnosis? The speed of response, 30, 30, 30, 10. What is a post-hypnotic suggestion? What is a waking suggestion? What is compounding suggestions? What is pre-talk? And what is the difference between gullible and suggestible? Thank you for coming to visit today. May you have a blessed day in everything you do. And as you leave this Zoom room and re-enter your real world, may your unconscious minds find new solutions to anything that comes upon you that you want to achieve. Thank you. And I'll see you again.